Sunrise delay, we're still talking about elections, but, well, yes, some other parts of it. We've got retired Major General John Gbor, who is the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Grand Alliance. Good morning, sir. Thank you for coming on the program today. Tell us then, having listened to your colleagues talking about INEC guidelines, is your party, do you have any grounds, or you think that eventually all will be well with the elections?
Well, we feel we expect everything to be well anyway. We feel that everything will be well, but there is this controversy over the president signing the bill or not signing the bill, and that's the concern of every Nigerian, including All Progressive Grand Alliance.
Well, given where we are now...
We don't know the implication.
Go ahead.
If the president refuses to sign the bill, it means that there is something that APC is hiding or wants to keep to itself. And on the other hand, if he signs the bill, to me, probably APC feels PDP may have a greater advantage. There are two great evils in the country now. So the two evils are fighting. We don't know exactly where we are. If we say the president should sign the bill, PDP will carry the day, and the rest of us will just stand by watching helplessly. If, on the other hand, the president signs the bill, APC will carry the day. They know why they are fighting for.
But now,
they know what they are fighting for.
Now that INEC, having listened to the National Commissioner in charge of voter education and information, saying, well, they will come up with the final guidelines on Monday, and perhaps taking into consideration some of the observations, if not all, that has been raised. So the electoral, assenting to the electoral amendment bill or not, are you confident that with the guidelines that INEC is going to come up with, who knows, we just may have an appreciably credible elections?
Well, as I always say, I know the INEC chairman very well. He worked under me when I was the Registrar Nigerian Defense Academy, and that's the time he came back from the United Kingdom with his PhD in history. And he worked under me as a Registrar Academic Branch of Nigerian Defense Academy. He's a fine gentleman. He's an honest man. And whatever the authority, the government in power, wants him to do, I think this gentleman has a history, he has a future, and he wants to protect his integrity for posterity. And I know him, and I believe he will always want to do the right thing, regardless of what the president or the APC wants him to do. So I expect that something positive will come out of whatever happens. He will be positive for the sake of the well-being of Nigeria.
In your opening statement, you did mention that, my apology, you did mention that when the two parties, the leading parties, the PDP and the APC, are fighting, it leaves you with no hope for a party. Aren't you supposed to be standing alone in this quest to become president as a party and even as an individual? Do you depend on what happens to the PDP or the APC?
Well, actually, the right thing is supposed to be done, and that's why I'm counting on INEC chairman, because you cannot force, as a presidential candidate of APGA or presidential candidate of any party, President Muhammad Buhari has the authority to do what he wants to do. And I can't force him. No presidential candidate can force President Muhammad Buhari to do what he or she wants. So in a way, we are helpless. And that's why I'm counting on INEC chairman to do the right thing. He's been appointed by the president, quite okay, but he's been appointed to ensure that there's justice for all Nigerians. And I expect him, and I know whom he is, I expect him to stand his ground and do the right thing to protect the interests of Nigeria and the posterity of Nigeria, the future of Nigeria.
Can INEC do, other than what it has been able to do to this time, if the president doesn't send to the Electoral Act Amendment Bill?
Pardon?
What else can INEC do in the absence of the signing of the Electoral Amendment Bill by Mr. President? What more can INEC do to give you hope that you may become president in 2019?
Whatever is on the ground, INEC has a responsibility to ensure that the right thing is done. If we are to go by the old regulations, INEC chairman is to make sure that the right thing is done right down to the grassroots. And Nigerians should be honest. In the past, and I hope it don't happen this time, Nigerians have been running away with ballot boxes, falsifying figures. Right now, some politicians are buying voters' registration cards in somewhere I know, somewhere in Benue State. A politician gathered some youth and gave them 1.5 million to bring all their voters' registration cards. Those who agreed, he collected them and gave them the money so that they will not vote, and will know, which means that he's going to use those cards to do some illegal voting. We politicians should know that this country belongs to us. We are no longer under colonial administration. We are no longer under British. We don't expect foreigners to come and do work for us. We are supposed to work for the peace.
Let me ask you, General, do you really believe, if you can hear me, do you really believe that politicians can manipulate the system even with INEC's guidelines is presently out there? As a reason, that's why they're buying up these cards.
Politicians are always politicians. Nigerian politicians, majority of them have not been honest. They are not honest. It's do or die to them. They either get it or die. Only few Nigerian politicians are genuinely representing the interests of this country. And such politicians, the good ones, they take it as it is. They campaign. What we're supposed to do as politicians is to campaign, tell the public what we want to do for them when we win election. Convince them to elect us. Not to go and buy cars or falsify election or still get the youth to run away with ballot boxes as they've been doing before. That's not how to be a politician. To do that, you are a thief.
Some political parties are suggesting that INEC release the total number of registered voters and then give details concerning that as it regards to polling units by polling units, so that you know the number of votes expected from a particular polling unit to minimize rigging. Would you consider that as the right thing for INEC to do?
In the normal circumstances, that's the right thing to do. But in the Nigerian situation where politicians have no interest in the well-being of this country, they are going all out to buy the conscience of the electors. They are paying them money. They are writing the names of all those that are going to vote, and they are either started buying their votes, their voter registration card, or they are waiting so that when the time comes, they will pay them to go and vote for their own political parties, which is very unfortunate. As long as we are not being honest, Nigeria can never be a stable political entity.
But if INEC releases the data as regards the number of registered voters per polling unit, and then as some of the political parties are asking, after accreditation, we know the number of people accredited before the elections take, wouldn't that help to solve that matter of PVC buying?
In a way it will help, but given the Nigeria situation of dishonesty, honestly, Nigeria is a dishonest nation. We are not sincere, but given the nature of our system.
But you're seeking...
I think INEC shouldn't have released
Okay,
that.
You're seeking to be the president...
In a normal system.
You're seeking to be the president of this country, and you say it's a dishonest country. What do you want to do to make the country honest?
You see, the reason why we are dishonest is that we are living in a country that is banking on, focuses on sharing the cake rather than baking the cake. All the resources that accrue to the federal government from the various states, from oil wealth, from agriculture, from everything, to the federal level, is distributed, is supposed to be, is supposed to trickle down right to the grassroots. But unfortunately, less than 2% of Nigerians sit on this money. They share it among themselves, send it to foreign banks, and that's why Nigeria is a capital poverty of the world.